Okay, so today we're talking about antidepressants. So I want to give you guys a tip that I've heard from PUAs. What's up with the mattress actress trying to sue me? I haven't heard back since I told her, take me to court, bitch. I gotta stop swearing. I meant that. I meant it. Take me to court, lady. But do you know what? A PUA told me that when you're at a girl's house, you want to look in her medicine cabinet. You can find herpes drugs. You can find SSRIs. And this is really important because there's a lot of women that are mentally ill. They're mentally ill. So, when we think about drug abuse in America, most people picture heroin junkies in Portland, opioid users in the Midwest, and cocaine users in Miami. That's what's pushed in the news and through our phones on social media. But what's not talked about is modern women's depression. 1 in 4 women in the United States are on some type of psych med. During the pandemic, the rise of antidepressants prescribed to young women between the ages of 12 and 25 jumped by 130%. So I came up with the modern woman life cycle here on Pearl Daily. And I want to recap the life cycle. And modern women taking psych meds fits in perfectly. So number 1, modern women will go to a high-priced institution to get a degree nobody cares about and put themselves in a whole bunch of debt that will be a burden to them for the rest of their lives. And all they learn in school is how to be disagreeable and how to use men. Then modern women will get a job that's too stressful and doesn't care about them. In reality, the job is not that hard or stressful, but the women convince themselves that it is. Modern women feel entitled to a certain lifestyle because when they begin their careers and will buy houses and cars they can't afford and spend money on travel while ignoring their student loan debt. Modern women wake up at the age of 33 to 37 and rush to have kids, find a husband, or both. Modern women hit their late 30s and early 40s and try to get pregnant by some loser or through IVF. Modern women will start on antidepressants and become alcoholics. And then modern women do what we do best. Buy a dog, which I already have. Ellie, come here. Come here. And die alone. Step 5 and 7 is usually when modern women start taking their psych meds. Although there has been an increase in teenage girls being prescribed psych meds because of social media. Steps 5 and 7 is usually when a woman has entered her mid-30s and has smashed into the wall. They get less attention from men. They realize that their jobs can care less about them. And they look back at all the time and money they wasted in school to get their degrees. Many of them have no relationship skills and no longer want to be alone, but have no idea and no longer want to be alone, but they have no idea how to go about it. Their situation is so bleak that they turn to psych meds to numb the pain of what they finally realize is a wasted life. Now, we have some clips that demonstrate this.
Now we have a GMA health alert, a headline we first saw in the Wall Street Journal asking why more women in middle age are turning to antidepressants than ever before. Our ABC News chief medical correspondent, Dr. Ashton's here, going to break it down. So this is startling. According to the CDC, approximately 1 in 5 women between the ages of 40 to 59 and 1 in just 4 women over 50 are turning to antidepressants. That's compared with 1 in 10 women between 18 and 39 using this kind of medicine. Why is this happening?
Well, the short answer is
we know why it's happening. Women don't know how to handle getting old alone.
we don't know, Robin, but the first step is making this observation. The second step is talking about it, which is why I'm so glad we're having this conversation. But yes, there definitely seems to be some differences in the rates of depression in women versus men, and as women age, whether that's a hormonal contribution as women get to menopause, or just more lived life experiences, life stressors.
We know what kind of life experiences they mean.
World events, things that we've all been through. We don't know, but those numbers, absolutely jaw-dropping when you see how common this is.
And of course there's concern. You don't want to overprescribe.
Right.
this type of drug. So who are they really intended for?
Well, I think that's the key. When people hear this, they tend to go all to one extreme or another. It's not all bad or all good. For the right person, antidepressants for a certain period of time or even a prolonged period of time can be incredibly beneficial. They can help with a depressed mood. They can help with a loss of interest in daily activities and activities that previously used to give joy or pleasure to someone. And they can restore the sleeping, eating routines that are so often disrupted in people and women who suffer from depression, but they can also have risks. So those need to be discussed with the patient before you write that prescription.
Signs for depression.
I think we all need to recognize this, Robin, because...
Which one do you think is on antidepressants? Not me, crazy ladies.
They are subtle, but then when they're happening to you, they don't feel so subtle. So chronic sadness, what we call somatic effects of depression, which is physical pain, headache, body aches, where you can't find another attributable cause. Change in sleeping and eating habits are big, and anxiety coming from depression. There is no shame in the game. Speak up, get help.
Thank you for saying that. No shame in the game. Speak up. Thank you.
I don't know. There is kind of shame in the game. I wouldn't go around telling people you're on antidepressants. Like this lady right here. Okay, wait. Let me see. Sound on. Okay.
It's so hard to know who to trust with this whole SSRI thing because, like, on one hand, they've saved millions of lives, but on the other, this girl I went to high school with who only did butt stuff so she could still be a virgin, she thinks we just need to eat clean and get some fresh air. So, like, who's to say? It's a toughie.
Who is to say? Okay, we got a stay-at-home mom who's on meds. We all love those wine moms. There's so many wine mom alcoholics out there.
What doubles when we go from our 20s and 30s to our 40s and 50s? It's our use of SSRIs, 1 in 10 to 1 in 5. What also changes when we go from our 30s to our 40s is our hormone called progesterone.
And we get ugly. I know we talk about the wall a lot. Now, women do drop significantly in attractiveness around 30. As you guys can see, I'm aging out. Dang it. But, you know, we do drop, right? I mean, you guys see it. It's like subtle. But then you look back at like a picture of me at 18 or whoever, and it's like, wow, you're hot. You know, can't. I was a little fat when I was younger, thank God, because then I'd be really sad. Thank God I'm thinner now, you know. And anyways, long story short, but 40s is the real wall for women because there's some 30-year-old women. Can we just keep it a buck? There's some 30-year-old women that look like 5 years younger that can pass for mid-20s and don't really have a difficult time. But there are no 40-year-old women that pass for mid-20s. That just does not happen. Tell me if Ellie's distracting you guys too much, I'll put her down. Let me read the chat on the website. If you guys do want your chat read, yeah, it's all about the why. Oh, wait, hold on. I read the wrong chat. That's from last show. Okay. Oh, no, the live chat disconnected. What? Oh, no. Oh, that was from last show. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to play this again.
It's depression, anxiety, not being able to sleep at night, insomnia, any of these things, it probably is just your progesterone.
Turn up the volume. I can't turn it up. It's just the girl's audio.
Dropping, producing less progesterone.
So right now she's saying it's the progesterone, but really it's, I mean, we all know it's getting ugly. I'm going to be depressed at 50. 40s, there's the occasional hot mom. There's no hot mom at 50. I don't want to get older. Make it stop.
In your ovaries, and it may be as simple as knowing what's going on and supporting your body. Let me tell you from personal
Women are binge drinking more than men.
experience.
No, this is my pet. I bought her off of Craigslist when I was 21. My mom was pissed. And she was right. You've been a pain in my ass. Oh, do you know what it's like? You guys know what it's like moving countries with a dog? It's not fun. It is not fun at all.
Progesterone is actually a supplement that you could feel relief from right away. It's worth getting your levels checked.
Turned.
And it's a huge deal for me. And I had a lot of resistance to taking this medication, and a big part of it was around not feeling like I was being medicated so that I wasn't like hurting other people or bad to other people, or I wasn't taking it like to shut me up. And I'm gonna explain why. So part of why I'm taking it is like I am someone, my kid is PDA autistic, I for sure carry a lot
Of course your kid is PDA autistic. Of course.
of PDA traits. I'm neurospicy. And when I'm upset, I yell.
I'm neurospicy.
I yell at my family, mostly at my wife, in front of my kids, hopefully usually not, but sometimes it is in front of them. And I blame, and I'm like loud when I'm upset. And I carry so much shame about that.
Translation, I have no emotional control.
Like sometimes I have envy for other people's mental health disturbances.
And they said Ellie is the perfect female, quiet and chill. She is quiet and chill, but she does breathe heavy.
That are like quiet, which is like fucked up. But I'm like, well, at least on top of the disturbance, they also aren't like people can't see it and think they look crazy. Like I was screaming the other day, my neighbor walked by and I was like super like, oh my God, like, hey, like, sorry, like, what does she think? I don't know. People scream, but like, there's this way of like my bad stuff, even though externalizing is healthier for you, you look like it's less socially acceptable. And so there was this big part.
I don't even know what she's saying. It's just, I'm hearing blah, 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 blah.
Medicine, so I stopped hurting people with my like this fucked up part of me.
See, this is what I think. I think women, we don't want to do the hard thing. Okay, Ellie, this is the only show she's coming. We don't want to do the hard thing. Like controlling your emotions when you're upset is very difficult. I mean, guys, I'll be the first to admit it. There's times that I really regret. There's one story, maybe. If we get enough on the website and I really don't care, I'll tell you where I did not handle my emotions. The most embarrassing thing I've ever done. But, you know, where you learn is there's a time when you don't handle your emotions well and you learn from it and you say, oh, I didn't like that. And then you get better and you move on. And you take accountability and you move on from your actions. But yeah.
Neighbor walked by and I was like super like, oh my God, like, hey, like, sorry, like, what does she think? I don't know. People scream, but like, there's this way of like my bad stuff, even though externalizing is healthier for you, you look like it's less socially acceptable. And so there was this big part of me that's like, everyone just wants me to take this medicine. So I stopped hurting people with my like this fucked up part.
Have you guys ever dated a woman where you said you got to be on antidepressants?
Part of me, even though I'm trying to love this part of me, as I love my son and the ways in which he can get really like externalized with his hitting, destroying, whatever, like that's helped me love this part of me. And then I still have so much shame because I was raised that this was an awful part of me and I'm a bad person in this part of me. So part of taking medication, I really had to start to feel like I was doing it for my own well-being, that my wife wanted me to feel better inside. And that's why she had me on this, or was suggesting
she should try eating less.
And same for my doctor. Like I'm not taking it to be quieted down for my hard time. I'm taking it to be supported and like feeling okay, so that like these hard times that are like.
She sounds like 17. I don't think we mature past 17. So 1 year on Prozac. Let's see how she did. And also I'm going to do a call-in at the end. So I need you guys to tell me if you've dated women on antidepressants. I want to hear your stories.
It has officially been 1 year on Prozac. Let's talk about it. Many of you have been here since I first shared me starting my Prozac journey. You know that it was very anxiety inducing for me, which makes sense because I was like getting on Prozac for anxiety. And I have done some updates before, but now that it's been a full year, I feel like I really understand the benefits and things that it has done to better my life and impact my life. So I wanted to share some of those things. Something I've learned is that Prozac works best for me in conjunction with therapy. If I am only taking the medicine and not in therapy, then I still feel like I can't function sometimes. And that is also why maybe I showed up my dosage a little bit. But now that I'm back in therapy, I'm starting to...
Therapy and antidepressants. What a time.
With therapy, there's any chance that I might need to up that dose. Ever since that initial GI issues with the first few days of taking it, I have not had any issues or side effects since then, even when I upped my dosage earlier on. When it initially started working, part of me was like, oh, do I even need to keep taking the medicine? Like, I feel good. Like, do I need to keep going? And the answer is yes. Yes. Even when you start feeling better, that doesn't mean you should stop taking the medication. Last thing I will say is that medication and your mental health are more important than worrying about if your body changes while taking these medications. For some people, I understand the fear of weight gain with this type of medication.
She clearly does not fear weight gain.
But I promise.
Look at all the times I've really matured in my life. I had to eat shit. I don't think you mature from drugs. I think you gotta take some L's.
You, in the long run, making your brain happier, your mental health.
Jen said, my ex-girlfriend got on Lezapro, completely ruined her life, suicidal, murder attempts, fights with everybody, ruined all careers and friendships, gangbangs, and incurable STDs. Call in, tell me that story.
Happier, like your overall well-being happier, will be way more worth it than heavier.
Misery loves company, so she's telling everyone else to get on.
You girlies are on antidepressants. Let me know if you feel the same. If I drink, like I literally drink that much, right? I already feel it. Like I have to pee. Like it's burning down there. Like I can.
Drinking on antidepressants. Wow.
I have to pee. Like it's burning down there. Like I cannot control myself. I can't. That's how much I drink. And
If you eat foods that are high in protein, you're not hungry as often. You don't have to go to the cabinet every 35 seconds to get a snack. Groundbreaking stuff. Cottage cheese, I don't know, I just shove it in my mouth. I'm not hungry anymore. Tuna melt, this will satiate me all night long. Who knew? I'm so lazy, so I want to do the least amount of work for the highest payoff at all times. And it turns out, protein does that for me. Oh my. Getting a balanced meal in. A little sparkling water, a pretzel crisp. Maybe my antidepressants are starting to kick in because I feel alive, feel electric.
She feels alive on antidepressants. What a time. Okay, wait.
Work day, but I also found out I just had a really intense work day. But I also found out from my psychiatrist that Depakote causes PCOS in women. So now it's leading me to think, how many psychiatric medications are causing adverse effect in women?
I heard like 15% of women have PCOS. Isn't that nuts?
And are the women that are on psychiatric medication receiving it because there's actually something wrong with them, or is it because they live in an environment where there's emotional abuse and neglect, narcissistic parents, etc., right? Is it hormonal? And then we think they're crazy, and then we're just giving them a psychiatric medication. I have so many questions.
And I have questions for you guys. So, have you ever dated a woman on SSRIs, and what was your experience? And what would happen if she stopped taking them? So I'm going to do the call-in link. Give me a second. But I'd love to hear your personal stories. Give me one second.